Before we get into today's Dallas Cowboys rumors, a change is coming up, by the way. You've got free videos every single day here on the Cowboys Report. That stays the same. But the weekly live shows, they're moving to Thursday, the off-season time slot. Same time, but on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern. Let's dive into some Cowboys rumors. First up, will the Cowboys pick only one of Amari Cooper or Michael Gallup? I would be inclined to say, yeah, probably. I'm going to give this 3 stars. And this was one of the off-season Tom problems. Well, now we got to sort this through and figure it out. The Cowboys, I do think, will only pick one of these 2 guys. They could pick both of them if they want to, but that's not where they're at the current moment. That's not the path they appear likely to pursue. Cooper's got a very hefty cap hit this upcoming year, more than what the team wants to pay. And Cooper is the better wide receiver, but the team also seems a bit upset with him at the current moment. That's a red flag because of the injuries, the vaccination stuff. Fair or not, they have some issues there. But he's a better receiver than Michael Gallup is, who is coming off his torn ACL. And I don't know exactly what the salary cap hit is going to end up being like for Michael Gallup. That is certainly a red flag as well. So there's a conversation here about what is the best path if the Cowboys only want one of them. A lot of this comes down to how you value these guys. The evaluation is pretty easy. Cooper's better. The numbers bear that out. The production bears that out. The way defenses handle them bears that out. All of it says Amari Cooper is the better wide receiver. But he's also more expensive. And the Cowboys can blame themselves for sitting on their butts 2 years ago in free agency and not paying Amari Cooper quickly and letting the then football team drive up his asking price and now paying him more than what you could have had if you were proactive in free agency. And again, because you could just simply restructure Amari Cooper or extend him, you could afford both of these guys if you want to. That is not how Catboy Stephen Jones operates. I'm not going to get my hopes up from that perspective. And there's also this part too. If you save a bunch of money by cutting Amari Cooper, you could then give Michael Gallup what you save and potentially have someone left over to re-sign a Cedric Wilson as well. So it's not really just Amari Cooper versus Michael Gallup. It's Michael Gallup plus a little bit extra in terms of the money you would hypothetically have available, or does Gallup want a 1-year deal? Because then you're kind of kicking the can down the road with it being a need again next year. So there's a lot that goes in to this conversation. It's the value of both of these guys and how you handle that. So pick a wide receiver for me. Type AC for Amari Cooper or type in MG for Michael Gallup. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, type AC or MG. Let's look behind door number, 3 in this scenario. Cooper, Gallup, and Odell Beckham. Could he go to the Cowboys? I've been against this before. Now it makes a little bit more sense, though. 2 stars on this one. We'll see. I'm not going to go above 2 stars, but there is some pretty decent rationality behind it. Now, Beckham did suffer that torn ACL in the Super Bowl, so I doubt he's ready for Week 1. But Beckham, after a pretty disastrous run, not all his fault clearly, in Cleveland, boosted his stock in a big way with the LA Rams. You got to figure out the cost, how he would fit in your offense, and with a team it didn't work in Cleveland, and it didn't work that great down the end at New York either, and what his role would be, who else you have at wide receiver on your roster. But unlike in, when he was cut, this actually does make sense because the potential need is there for Odell Beckham at the wide receiver spot. Now, in 12 games, playoffs included, with the back end being really good in that perspective, Beckham played great. He looked like not prime Odell Beckham, but a little bit more like 2018, 2019 to an extent. OBJ, a guy that would be able to get you 1,000 yards and maybe do a little bit more. He had more touchdowns overall, including playoffs. These are regular season stats on screen here, with the Rams than he did in his entire tenure with the Cleveland Browns. Now, the injury is an issue here. He might not be ready for Week 1, and he's also torn that ACL twice in 16 months. that's a red flag. So we'll spend some more time on this. I'll give my thoughts too. What do you guys think, though? Would you sign Odell Beckham? Type in OBJ for yes, you would. No BJ for no. I don't think he's ready for week 1. Now, maybe it's more like week 2 or week 3. Remember, the last time he tore this ACL, he wasn't ready for week 1 after tearing it earlier in the process. That, again, should be a red flag. The injuries are an issue. He clearly liked L.A. L.A. didn't need Odell Beckham. Now, they ended up needing him because Robert Woods got hurt, and then, of course, OBJ himself got hurt. But Odell wanted to be in L.A. So I would guess, and it's just a guess, he ends up re-signing in some capacity with the L.A. Rams. But if the Cowboys were to sign him, I wouldn't be mad at it. Now, I don't know who you lose at receiver, if it's Cooper or Gallup. I would wonder if losing Cooper would make it more appealing to go out and get Odell Beckham from a role and stylistic standpoint. Because, I mean, if you could somehow roll out Gallup, Lamb, and OBJ, you're worried about the injuries with 2 guys coming off torn ACLs, but the upside is certainly intriguing from that standpoint. Cowboys jerseys are under $90. Not every jersey you'll see, but a pretty good amount of them from our friends over at Fanatics. If you forgot Valentine's Day, didn't get what you were hoping for Valentine's Day, or are a little bit alone like intern Jack is, it's all good. Make yourself feel better with a Cowboys jersey. Chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. I'll put the link in the comment section and in the description. Tons of styles, color variety. Not all of them under 90, but a pretty good amount. Plus, they've actually got the Micah Parsons oh-so-tough-to-find jerseys as well. Let's talk Dak Prescott. Will the Cowboys restructure his deal? 4 stars. I mean, duh, right? There's no reason not to do so. Unless you're just really incompetent as an organization. The Cowboys have not flipped that switch, so to speak, yes, but they will in the near future, depending on just how much of his base salary they want to convert into a signing bonus. It could save them, 16 to 14 million in salary cap. It's a pretty good amount of money, and then you just kick the can down, or just like you did with Tony Romo, just like you're supposed to do with your franchise QB. Keep that cap hit low so you can spend elsewhere while you are in your franchise window with a young top 10 QB. Dak's current contract right now says $34 million. Yeah, you can get that number way down. You can drop that figure under $20 million this year. That is much more affordable than really a lot of the QBs out there, and that's a good move for the Cowboys to do. It's a matter of when, not if, they'll do so. And it's one of several moves the Cowboys can make to free up a bunch of salary cap space. They are over the salary cap right now, but they don't have to be. And remember, if you're going to cut or trade players, you can save just as much, if not more, by restructuring those deals. These are simple restructures. No fake years needed to be added. They just take the signing bonus or take the base salary, flip it to a signing bonus, and it frees up almost $12 million for DeMarcus Lawrence. Almost over 12 and a half for Amari Cooper. Easy 7 and change there for Zach Martin. That's kind of your no-brainer. Tyron Smith, $8 million. Lyle Collins, almost $6 million. If you're going to keep those guys, probably should consider restructuring them unless you're not sold on them being part of your short-term and long-term future. These guys right here, it's an easy 45. They can clear 75 if they want to. They're not going to. That doesn't make sense. You don't want to clear, make guys like Zeke Elliott, for example, make that contract even more prohibitive long-term, but you can save a lot of money by doing so. So when it comes to making the moves that we want them to make, or you might want them to make, because it's a matter of opinion in the end, do you trust the Dallas Cowboys this offseason? Y for yes, you do, N for no, you do not. Let's talk Zach Martin now. Do you, or could the Cowboys move him to left guard? No. Fake news on this one, and this idea came to us from the Dallas Cowboys' own site, one of their mailbags. They discussed the idea of moving Zach Martin, put in a headline, and their answer was no, it's not going to happen, which is the right answer. It's not going to happen. I understand where they're coming from. The idea of maximizing Connor McGovern and making him your right guard, since he was better at right guard by a pretty good margin than he was at left guard, that makes sense. But McGovern's also not your priority. Zach Martin is still your best offensive lineman. And although the unit as a whole for the offensive line did not play up to the level of the individual talent this year, Martin is the only one I don't want to mess with. He wants to play right guard. He's more or less made that pretty clear to the team and the organization. And he's a future Hall of Famer at the position. Could he play left guard, left tackle, right tackle, center? Absolutely. That is the one part of your offensive line that isn't broken. So I don't want to try to fix it. Now, you want to talk about moving guys to left guard? I'd have more interest moving La'el Collins to that position and making Terrence Steele your right tackle. Then you feel better about maximizing your offensive line. You can replace penalty boy Connor Williams. That's just one idea out there. We'll see what the Cowboys do, and I think the whole La'el Collins left guard potential change is probably worth more conversation on a future video here on the Dallas Cowboys Report.